Welcome to the All Ambient podcast, where we dig into the creative process, hear untold stories, and explore the minds of a lot of brilliant people behind some of the finest ambient music out there. My name's Mike Graff. I make music as Dear Gravity. Really glad to be here together with you. I know I say that a lot. It's because I mean it. I genuinely do. And today is no exception. Get the chance to hang out with not one, but two lovely people, Lina Hallberger and Max Blomqvist of the moniker Center of Attention, and also the label heads of Silent Sonic Records, both joined us today. It was a treat to have them on, not only sharing about making music as Center of Attention and the momentum that's been gathering over the past handful of years and where they're going from here, but also starting Silent Sonic Records and some of the vision that they have for that and what's exciting them about the process. You're not going to want to miss it. These guys are great. Before we go any further, if you have not jumped onto the All Ambient Discord server yet, please do so. The link is in the show notes. We'd love to have you join the community. It's a great place to meet a bunch of other like-minded artists. It is also a great place to respond to what's going on the podcast, to be a part of that conversation, and even asking questions or give feedback for future episodes and other things that we can all dig into. Maybe even different artists you'd like to see in the interview seat. Come on over and join us. That'd be great. We also have some incredible developments that are happening at all-ambient.com. We're going to be rolling those out in the next weeks, months. Stay tuned for that. There's a bunch of great artists making great things, and the plate of those great things is about to grow and grow. Really excited, but we'll get there when we get there. For now, let's dig right into today's conversation. I am thrilled that there's not just one person in the interview seat today, but two wonderful people joining us. We have the pleasure of hanging today with Lina Hallberger and Max Blomqvist of Center of Attention. And not only as Center of Attention, that incredible moniker, but you guys are also the showrunners at your label, Silent Sonic Records, from Stockholm, Sweden. Lina, Max, welcome to the All Ambient podcast. So glad you're here.
Thank you so much.
What a warming welcome.
Happy to be here.
It feels great to be here.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't be happier that you guys are here. Just such a joy to have you both, really, very much so. Well, it's a little extra special when we have a couple people on the podcast at the same time, because we get to hear usually double the amount of stories and double the amount of perspectives. And sometimes it's really fun to watch how those perspectives are unified, like how they are the same. But then it's also fun to hear how the perspectives are different and how that can be really cool in how it helps form your art, how the complementary views help form what you do and all the things that you guys touch. So I'm really excited to go for it. You are coming to us from Stockholm, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
A small city outside of Stockholm in the archipelago.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Did you both, were you both born and raised in that area?
No, not really.
Okay.
I am from Svenljunga. It's a little bit further south in Sweden.
Wow. Yeah.
And you are from Stockholm.
And I'm from Stockholm. Yeah.
Amazing. Awesome.
But we've been living in another city for a while. So we
Yeah.
just kind of recently moved to Stockholm now in the
amazing.
archipelago. So we get to experience nature here, which is lovely.
I mean, not only is that just a great way to live, period, but also you can kind of hear it in your music too, just allowing that, just the beautiful surroundings to inform the art you guys create, and I love it. But enough of that. I'm gonna turn it over to you. You can fight over who wants to go first or who wants to pick up the story. But I would love to hear a little bit about how each of you and how you guys together got started in music. Maybe kind of, going back to the place where it was one of those first moments where you were kind of wowed by music. You were just like, wow, I think this is something I'm going to be spending a lot of my life on. Tell me the story. And again, you can bounce back and forth, or you can one at a time, however you'd like to do it, but I can't wait to hear.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, none of us come from either like musical family. But for me, I think I've always been interested in creative stuff, and I've always struggled to like pick up the guitar and stuff because I don't have the patience to learn everything. But then I really got into like house music in the like 2012, 2011 era of Avicii and Swedish House Mafia. And I just thought it was so cool. And when I learned that, I'm like, wait, how do they create the music? They're not playing any guitars. And I did find out that Avicii used FL Studio. And I'm like, whoa, what's this? And decided to download that and play around with it. I've all come from like a gaming background. So like sitting around at the computer is like, feels like my safe space. So it was like a kind of easy transition going from gaming.
Let's just open up a different piece of software, different app.
Yeah, exactly. Basically. So that kind of like really sparked my musical journey.
Mm.
And ever since then, I've been into producing like electronic music, basically.
Yeah.
And I managed.
Are you still creating EDM stuff? Or are you still in that lane?
No, not really. But
I cut you off. I'm sure you got more to tell.
But I'm kind of getting back to it a little bit, experimenting with some other stuff. So you might see that in the future.
Nice. Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
But and then I started studying music production and songwriting at a university. And then the hobby kind of became like more songwriting and pop production and stuff like that. And this is like 6 years ago or so. And that's kind of where I both met Lina. Mm-hmm. And we also began with this ambient journey or whatever we're doing. It's
kind of fun actually, because I didn't know anything about like music production or how to use a DAW or anything. I come from, so I'm just self-learned, and Max have helped me a lot with how to like the theory and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I've played clarinet and violin growing up, just a few years, nothing big.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm kind of new to this space actually.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's so good. Tell me about kind of that moment when the two of you met. What was it? Pretty much at the same time when you guys met that you started playing around with the idea of making music together, or was it like you met and then it became a while later that idea developed, or how did that form?
Yeah, I mean, I've always loved music, and like I've been singing a lot, and my dad played drums growing up, and
amazing.
I always wanted to try to make music. So when I met Max, I wanted a new hobby. So he thought, ambient music is a great way to start because it's easier with drones and stuff like that. And so that's how we started out.
And this was during the COVID pandemic as well. Mm-hmm. So we're both kind of like sitting at home and being like, okay, what should we do? Should we watch another series on Netflix, or could we do anything else?
I hear you.
Yeah.
Not alone. That's great.
But it's very interesting, and we both were studying at the time, and I don't know how, but we began listening to a lot of like study music on YouTube.
Yeah, yep.
And that kind of like sparked the interest and sparked the idea of like, maybe we should try and create something like this because it feels like a simple segue into music production.
I love that.
Yeah.
So when, and forgive me, I absolutely love your guys' stuff, but you are so prolific in it. I actually didn't go back to the very beginning and start listening to the, see the timestamps on how early you guys
don't do that.
Music. Hey, I think that's something we all probably say. That's like just the artist fear. Like, don't listen to the early part of my catalog, please. It's better now. We're fun. No, we all got to start somewhere. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But how early into the journey did you guys begin releasing music as center of attention? Was it in that 2020-ish era, and then you've been kind of ramping it up ever since? Or tell me about that.
Yeah, we actually started out posting on YouTube.
Okay. Yeah, there you go.
So we uploaded some crappy animations and with some music.
I'm sure they were great. Yeah.
And that was like 2020, I think.
Yeah.
And then our mutual friend was uploading beats on Spotify. Yeah. So he was like, you should upload on Spotify. And we were like, absolutely, we can try that out, because YouTube was very hard. We didn't get any traction or anything like that. So we started uploading on Spotify, and I think that was 2021.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think it was around 2021.
Amazing.
And we started releasing our music like in the beginning, which is very interesting, because I think we have learned, instead of like sitting around with the tracks and waiting until like we're totally masters in this space of music, I think we quite early on just like, no, let's just release it.
Yeah.
And then just learned as the time went by. And I think that has helped us in a lot of ways, actually.
Yes. Yeah, I want you to keep riffing on that, but I wholeheartedly agree with you. I think it takes a larger level of bravery to release the stuff and just say, okay, here we go. We're out there for better or for worse. Here we go. But also, you are right, where just by way of putting the music out into the world, you begin learning so much quicker than if, like you said, if you were to just stay in the studio and you were to keep tinkering. I think we learn 10 times faster by releasing and then be like, oh, I should have thought about this. And that doesn't mean the art, the music was bad, or that it was there was something that isn't going to be enjoyed by a lot of people. But as we're all evolving and growing and learning as artists and as humans, it absolutely goes faster when you're willing to be brave and put it out there. So thank you guys for saying yes to that, because it speeds up the timeline to the place now where a lot of people are getting to really enjoy what you guys are doing because of that bravery. So thanks for doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think a lot of artists as creatives, we kind of tend to like hold back, because usually we just enjoy sitting in front of the computer, tweaking stuff and doing.
Right.
So I don't know if a lot of people actually, if what they kind of like envision with your craft. Are they going to release stuff? Are they going to try and build like a fan base? Do they want to get a few streams to maybe make a little side income? I think it's hard, but I think it's a very good idea to try and pinpoint like what your goals is with the music.
Yeah.
If it is just you having fun in the basement, then maybe you don't even have to release music.
Right.
But
That's
I mean,
a great goal too.
Yeah, exactly. But I think it's great to kind of pinpoint like what you want to do and how you want to do it. I mean, I think that's a whole discussion for itself. But I mean, like especially in ambient music, where we could always talk about the difference between like building a more passive fan base and passive listeners, which is more based on like algorithmic streaming and stuff like that, playlists, and like building a real fan base is like a whole another thing.
Yeah.
That's
more about
you out.
Yeah. That's kind of like building a community around you as an artist.
Well, and that's probably a good place to kind of expand the conversation a little bit, because at some point along the journey, which I hope that you're about to both speak into a little bit, all of a sudden we're not just talking about you guys as center of attention, but we're talking about the two of you as running Silent Sonic Records, which is a force in and of itself. So tell me the beginning story of that, but maybe even more so how the idea came into being. You're like, I think we should probably do this. This isn't just an artist thing. I think there's a bigger ask for us to say yes to right now. Can you guys tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's kind of an interesting question. I think it began a long way a couple of years ago, because we've been curators on SubmitHub for a couple of years now, 3 years, I think, almost.
Yeah.
Which has led us to sharing tons of music in our playlists we've built up over the years.
Sure. Yep.
And it has been a great way for us to kind of build a little community for ourselves and to meet a lot of artists, which in return, a lot of them have become like great friends of ours now. And we've done tons of collabs and stuff with them. So I think SubmitHub has been like, we've kind of acted as a label on SubmitHub already, you know, like adding music to playlists,
it's like the gateway
curating
into
stuff.
It. Yeah. To have SubmitHub give you the chance to act as label heads in a lot of decisions on what you say yes to, what you say no to, and building those relationships and where it goes from there. That is kind of a unique first step, or first couple steps in the journey. And so I love that. Lina, tell me a little bit about your piece of, and Max, I love you, man. And I love hearing it, Alfred. I just want to make sure we're balancing this conversation too. Tell me a little bit about some of your passion in the, not just on the artist side, but on the label side. What are the things about Silent Sonic that they get you excited and that you enjoy putting your hands to and your head to?
Yeah, I would say the thing I like the most is the community side of things, like talking to the artist, building new friendships, like of course listening to the awesome music we're getting and stuff like that. So that's my passion, like building a community and learn from each other. Yeah.
Amazing. I love that. That's awesome. Cut to what year, or, where along the timeline did Silent Sonic all of a sudden become the thing, or become a thing, I guess would be the better way to ask that.
It's actually a pretty fun story. I think our mutual friend Benjamin Tatlow reached out to us in when was it? In last fall or something like that?
Yeah.
And he was like, hey guys, you should definitely consider starting your own label because you have the playlist for it and stuff like that. So I was like, yeah, we might do that. But of course, we were frightened. We were like, okay, how, where to start? How do we do this? And what's the goals? So we just went back to the studio and planned everything for months before releasing the news.
And so that's a fairly new development then. Yes, we're talking just was it calendar year 2025 or did it hit at the end of 2024 when you guys made the announcement?
The announcement was late 2024.
Good. Okay. Yeah, it was.
Amazing.
But we started officially now in January 2025.
Yeah. I love that. That's awesome.
So not long ago at all.
Yeah, we just jumped right into it. We were like, okay, what should we do? How should we do it? And we decided on just put it out there. Let's see how it goes. Talk with some friends and start with that.
Yeah. I love that. Well, and it's both worlds, right? Where you are, in one sense, it is new and you guys are learning a boatload and you're trying all these things and figuring out what works and what doesn't work. But also you guys have been just fabulous artists and have been releasing music for years now. And so there are pieces of it that are less new. There are pieces of it that are a little more familiar. So even though the entity is new, by no means does that mean that you guys are unqualified or that there's any reason to not pay attention. Center of attention. There we go. I tried to just feed that in there. Shameless plug. But no, I love the evolving of that and that this is kind of a unique new chapter for you guys. And we don't have to get deep into the weeds, but I do know that even with Ben, there are some, alongside all the other amazing releases that I'm sure that you have ready as Silent Sonic, I believe there's some partnerships as well that you guys are working alongside Ben and releasing some stuff together as labels and that sort of thing. And the only reason I'm not one who is able to listen to a bunch of news out there, I have a hard time keeping up with everything that's going on. But I know the only reason I know about that is because I'm pretty sure that we might be doing something together a little later in 2025, and that I get the chance to hang out with you guys on a Silent Sonic partner release, which I'm pretty darn excited about.
Yeah. We too.
It's gonna be wonderful. Tell me a little bit about that partnership though. Like what's the thing that got all of you excited about doing things together and sharing that load?
Yeah. I mean, we're super excited. We do have your release coming up, which is very exciting, and a couple of other artists already that are planned out. But I mean, I gotta say, Ben from the beginning has been super helpful and just an amazing person, both musically and also on the business side of things. He's great guy.
Yeah.
And he kind of came to us with this idea and sparked an interest about if we had thought about creating a label. And we kind of started to think about how we could do it in a nice way for us to ease into the label world, basically.
Yeah.
So it kind of, the conversation went into us partnering up with Echoes Blue for a selective few releases for during the year. And I think in the beginning, the idea was to create a compilation. Yeah. Which is something else that's on the way.
Right. Yes, absolutely.
But after that, we kind of why not release a few EPs as well? So in the beginning, we talked about doing some compilations, and we have one coming out this summer.
I believe Dear Gravity's mate. I'm on that one, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You are.
Excited. I don't say that. I promise I'm not trying to be fake humble or anything like that. I'm at the point now sometimes where I forget what projects go what directions and
totally get it.
Yeah, I mean I know you guys know that when you release enough stuff sometimes it is perhaps wiser to not say anything than to say something that is probably incorrect because I can't remember straight. But but no, compilation is is going to be beautiful. I'm really excited to watch how the whole thing comes together. And I love even just a little bit of back and forth over email. It sounds like you guys are really pleased with how the whole project is coming together.
Definitely.
Yeah. So much fun to have kind of that momentum coming out of the gates, and that there are things very early on that are like, wow, this is a project that we're proud of. It didn't take years for us to build the label to a place where all of a sudden it's like, what? Now we're arriving at a look at this, like, you know, and don't get me wrong, there will be beautiful things years down the road for you guys too, but to start off with some really special things is just a very cool thing. So I love that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's dig into the creative process of Center of Attention a little bit. I'd love to hear more on how you both share the workload, the creative, who's coming up with ideas, and how do you guys kind of weave them together? Are you spending time like, and you know, I'm kind of a nerd both on the creative process side, but also on the schedule and like how this works into your life rhythm. Do you guys have set aside time each day or each week, or you know, is it more spontaneous where you just kind of do it whenever? Tell me about the creative process for Center of Attention. Love to hear more.
Yeah, I mean, both Max and I have day jobs, so we have to plan like everything. So our whole life is a schedule right now.
Yeah. What do you guys do for your day jobs? Just curious.
Yeah, I work at the supermarket.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And I do some work at like a recycling station right now here in Sweden.
Love it.
Yeah.
Humble beginnings.
You know what?
Exactly.
I sure hope that a lot of us have stories like that, because it makes you appreciate everything when it starts. Yeah, absolutely. Love that. All right, I cut you off though. Okay, so you both with the day jobs, everything is very, very, very intentional. Very like you have
planned
to make
out.
a decision.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So I mean, always start with Max is working a little bit less than I do. I work like 26 hours a day, 26 hours a week.
6 hours a day, that would have been a lot.
I never sleep.
No joke,
you know, no problem. Yeah.
Yeah, 26 hours a week. So Max does most of the like mixing and mastering stuff when I'm at work.
Yeah.
But when we start a track, I usually start with some chord progressions, like playing with the piano, like see what stuff is going on and what to use, and like which sounds, which synths. And then Max is always there to help me out, like theoretically wise and musically wise. This sounds good, this sounds not so good, and explaining why.
Yeah.
So it's always a learning process on each track, which is awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
But it's really great to be able to sit together and create something. It's really fun. Just like bouncing ideas back and forth. And like sometimes Lina can just say something like, I want this to feel like, I want there to feel like there's stars over this track. And we'll kind of play back and forth to try and achieve that together.
Yeah.
Which is very fun.
Yeah, so we usually start with like a theme or a feeling we want to like accomplish. Or maybe like some playlist we want to be added on or whatever. So a theme and a vision, and then we go from there, actually.
Yeah. I love that. Do you do most of your creating and music making while you're in the same room together, or do you do, I'm sure it's not all or nothing, but do you do, unless it is all or nothing, do you guys do stuff separate and then you come back together? I mean, it sounds like from what you just answered that you know, a lot of the real special kind of collective magic happens when you're talking about stuff together. You're in the same room together, you're exploring together. Is that what you guys have identified as like, this is when the most special stuff happens, is when we're in the same room together?
Yeah, for sure. Kind of like exactly how you said it now. All of like the major fun stuff is going around when we're together, and we're actually like creating the core of the track or whatever it is. And then, I mean, I can always finish up some mixing stuff later, but that's not any game-changing stuff.
Yep. I love that. This is going to put you guys on the spot just a little bit, but I would just love to hear more about, and I know you guys have, super grateful for your day jobs and all that, and that you are also intentional on making time for this part of your life, for the artist side and for running the label. Do you guys have a goal in mind, or is there some sort of moment you're like, you know what, if this thing grows to fill in the blank, then you're like, I think it's time for us to probably say yes to music full time. Is that a thing? Or do you I also love those who a really beautiful balance in continuing their day work and also correct me if I'm wrong, did you guys just release something with Rutland, with Ross sometime recently?
Yeah.
I love Ross. Ross was on the podcast a couple of months ago. But the fact that Ross is a psychologist by day and the level of thought that he brings to the world of music because of his passion for what, the other part of what he does with his time. Is I just think that really informs very beautifully. So I'm not dismissing that day jobs are less than or something like that. But do you guys have an idea in mind of however fast the growth comes for center of attention? And you guys are already growing leaps and bounds, and it's so great to watch how many just the countless thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of people are listening to your stuff. But yeah, what's the dream there? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, definitely. Like, our biggest dream is to live out of music, like full time.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Only music. And I mean, it's hard sometimes because we don't just want to rely on streams and stream royalties, if you know what I mean. Yeah. So we need like a more stability.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why we're having part-time jobs. But actually, Max is going to quit his job and work full time.
It's happening.
With the music.
Quite soon. Yeah.
Whoa. All right. Maybe by the time this episode is out in the world, we might have, that might be official. That's great.
Yeah, probably actually.
We hope so.
But yeah, we hope so. Yeah, we have too many projects right now. Yeah, we hope so.
Sure. Yeah. No, was that kind of the line for you, Max, where you're like, there's too much going on, I have to just make a decision? Was that sort of the line for you?
I mean, we've always had like the dream from like a couple of years ago, like if this continues, we might be able to quit our jobs and do this full time.
Yeah.
But now, honestly, we're starting to get to a point where like we kind of need to. Yeah. I mean, we're basically making more money off our music right now, and we have gotten ourselves into too many lovely projects.
I hear you. Yeah. No, not to change subject, but there was a very similar story that me and my family had about 7-8 years ago. But when what I was doing with my day job and the music was starting to grow, and there just came a point where like we as a family felt like I was not giving my best to either of them. Like I was dropping balls on the music side. I just wasn't able to keep up in a good way, where it was like, oh, there's, like you just said, so many projects and so many things that you want to put your time into. But then also because of the what was happening in music world, I felt like with my day job that I was not giving my best. There was not my focus wasn't that they were paying me for, right? Like that I was getting a paycheck, and so you are paying me to be present mentally and emotionally and spiritually and physically and at some point it was like I'm not doing either justice, and so I fully resonate with you. It doesn't make the decision easy, but it even if you know which one you want to do, it's also like, wow, this is happening. So I hear what you're saying, and you guys are just a great example to anyone else who might be at that point in the journey where they're wondering, okay, is it time? And I think what you said though is probably one of the best ways to help decide, Max, where you said that there are just too many things that you're excited about, and if the opportunity is there for you to say yes to that full time and to run after those projects, and the other one would be that, you know, you would maybe not say yes to those, and there would be this sense of regret at some point. You know, at the end of the day, like, I guess we need to pay bills, but also, you know, to at the end of our journey on Earth, you know, for us to look back and say, man, should I have maybe said yes to something that I didn't say yes to? And so to live
totally
obediently, to live, you know, like we talked about earlier, bravery and daring to run after what you feel is the right step is a great thing. So all the luck is not the right word, but all the blessings in the world to you and Lina. And I know it's coming for you, whatever that looks like. However soon that happens, but that's really exciting. That's awesome, you guys.
Yeah, but hopefully, I mean, Lina is also kind of hoping that she might also quit her job before the end of the year.
Oh, okay.
So that's
that's the goal. Yeah,
that's the goal at least.
Amazing. We'll have to check back in with you and see how that goal's going. No pressure. No, you don't have
no
to.
pressure.
You're like, man, what if it doesn't happen exactly what we just told Mike about? And Mike's going to come say, hey, man, timelines change, but the goal won't change. So that's great. Love it. Man, so leading up to our interview, I was really enjoying a couple different releases you guys put out recently. So one of your Silent Sonic releases, Lost in Green, I was just loving that bouncing around my studio walls and that. But also, you guys have done some really cool work. All of your work is cool, but you've done some exceptionally cool work. The Echoes in the Valley stuff that you guys have been releasing. I think it was Dreamers was the one that I was listening to. Just some really, I love. There's some wonderful little accents here and there with just how the piano weaves in, and it just you guys are great at what you do. Tell me what you are excited about artist-wise right now. Like, is there some release? I know that there's plenty you're excited about Silent Sonic, and we talked a little bit about some of that stuff. But as center of attention, is there something that, and if you need to keep something a secret, that's cool too. But is there something that you're working on, or something that's coming out soon that has you both excited?
Oh, yeah. We have some nice collabs coming out this year with Kilometer Club.
Hey, and Danny, a friend of the All Ambient podcast as well. Yeah. Indeed. Love the guy.
Yeah. And also Niklas Blomqvist.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Sir, he's a great guy. Love it. Is it with his Nicholas moniker, or with I don't even know is it Lunique?
Yeah, with Lunique.
It's a Lunique.
Lunique. Yeah. Got it.
Yep.
Very cool. Love it.
And also with Domi Castellano.
Yeah, Domi. Amazing, man. I love the family of artists that is continuing to.
It's amazing.
It's so great. Makes me really happy. Wonderful projects. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, are those all? Are you kind of scattered across different labels you're releasing that on, or are you trying to be more intentional on Silent Sonic, or what does that look like?
Yeah, I mean, with Kilometer Club is with Imaginary North, of course. Yep. And with Domi and with Niklas, it's Silent Sonic. Yeah.
So cool. Amazing.
But
can't wait to hear those. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's, I mean, there's so much stuff to be excited about, I feel like.
Yeah.
And, but also at the moment, we're kind of experimenting around a little with a little side project.
Okay.
That is, I mean, that's kind of Lina's baby.
Ooh.
Mine side project.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I have a side project.
Let's hear it. Yeah. Let's hear it.
Yeah. Well, I'm a huge book lover, so I read a lot of fantasy stuff.
Yeah.
And I want to make reading music.
Yeah.
With a little help from Max, of course.
Yep.
So we are trying to figure out how to fill the sound with like ambient and like more compositional stuff, but yet ambient.
I love that. That's amazing. Almost like a soundtrack for that's a unique thing, because like to create reading music where it's something that accompanies you while you read, like you want it to kind of speak into the story, but you also want it to be. I can imagine that you would also want it to be universal enough where it doesn't apply to just one story, right? Like it could apply to so that man, that's a unique unique artistic, not one that you can't solve. I'm just thinking, I'm like, wow, that it would cause one to make some really interesting decisions in a great way. I can't wait to hear more.
Yeah.
That's great. Are you guys gonna try that as Center of Attention, or are you creating a new moniker for that and releasing alongside on Silent Sonic, or what does that look like?
Yeah, we actually have a project out right now called Midnight Fables.
Midnight Fables?
Yeah.
That's
my project.
Man, no offense to Center of Attention, but Midnight Fables might be one of the coolest moniker names I've heard in a long time. That's really cool. I like that a lot. Man, I'm gonna go listen. So there's already music out in the world as Midnight Fables?
Yeah.
Yep. A few tracks.
Well, my apologies for not being aware of that one, but this is, I'm just like, perhaps like a handful of the listeners, maybe you listeners are more informed than I am, which is very, very possible. But for the few that maybe aren't, that's great. We're discovering new stuff, and Midnight Fables, awesome. Oh, that's
it's a very cool and fun way of like almost kind of trying to write music a little bit inspired by these books as well. And kind of like picking titles and cover art images that kind of fit the vibe, basically.
Let's get just a little nerdy on that for a second. Do you, Lina, with that project, do you have, like, are you inspired by whatever book you happen to be reading, or with a certain book in mind, and then you kind of write to that angle, or how do you begin that process? Just curious, because of the tie that you are placing this music to the practice of reading. So
Yeah, I usually start with books that I'm currently reading right now.
Yeah.
And then I get stuck on like a quote or something, or a feeling, or like one person. Yeah. And then I try to recreate that vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I get a lot of inspiration from like Lord of the Rings, or some new fantasy stuff, some like Sarah J. Maas and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I love it. So cool. Well, I'm going to go dig it in the moment that we hang up here. I'm
gonna,
sure. Turn it
go
on.
Ahead.
That's great. It's awesome. Man, it's so great to meet you guys. I'm really glad that we've gotten to do this.
Yeah,
Before
likewise.
we wrap up, and again, there's plenty more to talk about. We'll probably have to have you guys back because you're both just so great. But before we go, I'm sure if you've ever listened to an interview or two on the All Ambient podcast, you might know what's coming. But we do have a couple questions we call the lightning round around here. Are you guys up for some lightning round questions?
Yeah, shoot.
Sure.
Cool. So you don't have to answer the lightning round questions. Like, it doesn't have to be a short answer, but I just don't want you to think too hard about the question. Like, just whatever comes to mind, we're good to go. So, and this is for both of you. You can answer together, or you can both of you have different answers, whatever you want to do. What are you geeking out about right now? Is it whether it's maybe a Midnight Fables moniker, or some particular piece of gear, or just some just whatever. It doesn't even have to be music. What are you guys geeking out about right now?
Yeah, mine is pretty simple. It's Midnight Fables.
Yeah, I love that.
I live, eat, and drink and sleep to Midnight Fables. Like, that's it.
Yeah. Oh, so fun. That's amazing. Yeah. That's amazing.
You do.
Yep. I'm such a nerd.
I love it when Lina is, I love it when Lina is reading at home and saying she's working because she's getting inspiration in the book.
Isn't that like the dream for all of us though? If we get to like work at something that we just really, really enjoy. I mean, I don't know if it gets better than that. That's beautiful. I love what I do. Yeah. That's exactly. So great. It's awesome. Max, how about you, man? What are you thinking about right now?
I'm geeking out about that as well a little bit. But I would say right now I'm really interested in playlists, in the world of like growing playlists and trying to find new ways to grow playlists using ads and stuff and keyword engineering.
He's obsessed, like on a crazy level obsessed.
Yeah, well, someone's got to do it, right? Yeah. I'd rather have someone who's obsessed and has a great heart and wants to make things better on that than someone who has nefarious plans and wants to do things that aren't helpful to artists and whatnot. So that's great. I love that.
Totally.
Awesome. And I'll put you on the spot, Max. You mentioned electronic music earlier and kind of the beginnings there. Is there any noodling around that you've been doing in that world that might make its way out to the public in sometime in the near future?
Yeah. I mean, I think so. Not putting me on the spot.
Yep.
No, but I'm really, really excited about releasing another moniker for more like house-ish stuff. Yeah, and just having like fun. But and I've kind of had the idea for like 1.5 years, and like this week, there's so much we have to finish that ambient stuff. And like 1.5 years goes by, and you're like, okay, maybe I should really take time to do this.
I hear you. Totally hear you. If you know Chris Bartels, Blue Stem, Sonant, Elspeth.
Oh yeah, amazing.
We've been together. We've been working on an EDM, very much a melodic house moniker for about. I mean, it's probably close to 2 years now, and it's still it's not quite there. It's close, but I've laid myself on the altar many times and saying I've not done this justice and all that. But the truth is. And Chris gives me all the grace in the world. But the truth is, like you said, it's not as though you are being unproductive or that you're procrastinating on it. It's that there are other things that are taking your attention in the music world, and to have that thing that will come to life at some point when the time is right is kind of a cool thing. So man, maybe we will accidentally wind up releasing house stuff together at the same time. Who knows? That could be a lot of fun.
That would be awesome.
I got to learn a thing or two from you, man. Oh, that's great. Love it. Okay, here we go. Next lightning round question. What is one weird thing about each of you? I need you both to answer this one. A weird thing about each of you that most people do not know.
You can start.
What's a weird thing about me? I'm a chef, and I've worked
Amazing.
Yeah, and I've worked at a couple of restaurants.
All right.
A few years ago.
Okay. What's your favorite cuisine? What world do you find yourself most excited about in food?
It's tough. That's tough.
Okay.
I would say that Italian for sure.
Okay. Yeah.
At the moment, at least.
Yeah.
Sure.
We'll be creating some homemade pasta and stuff, it's really fun.
Oh, you guys.
And that's also very creative.
Yeah.
That's so fun. I love that.
Yeah.
I know we already got a little bit of an answer from you on the book side of things and reading and all that, but let's maybe go outside of that. Is there yet another thing that is a little known bit of info about you that most people do not know?
Yeah, I actually won the Swedish championships in hammer throw when I was 15 years old.
What?
Yeah.
The hammer throw. So crazy. Okay. Well, you're going to have to forgive me because I certainly from the US, I don't know as much about the 15-year-old category of the Swedish hammer throw championships. But please tell me more. How many people are involved in this tournament and how how many years were you doing this? Tell me more. Tell me the story.
Yeah.
This is great.
Well, I started with track and field when I was like 3 years old.
Sure.
Like I was grown up to the sport.
Yeah.
And when I was like 12 or something, I started with hammer throw, and I quit when I was like 19.
Sure. Is hammer throw similar to shot put? I think that's what the ball sort of is.
Yeah.
Hammer is more like it's an actual hammer. I take it, but.
Yeah, it's like a shot put with a string and a handle, and then you spin around in a ring, and then you throw it away.
Yep, there we go. I'm with you now. Yeah. Wow. Okay, so cut to 15 years old, and did you say you're the national champion in hammer?
Yeah.
How did you end up getting there? Was it let's hear how many rounds you had to go through and how many people you had to stomp underneath your feet to get up to the top. And
I mean, how many was we were like 20 people or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And I mean, I was how would you say it? I was like an elite when I was little. I really wanted to be an elite and like compete in the Olympics and stuff like that. So many of my friends are actually competing and the international, in the international games and the Olympics and stuff like that. So it's amazing to see them and
Man, well, Max, I'm sure that forever and ever that just keeps you in check a little bit, where you can't you got we need to listen to Lina, otherwise that hammer throw spirit's just gonna come right on out.
Exactly.
The Viking spirit.
Yeah, I love it so much. Oh, that's so great.
Yeah, but you have a ton of medals and stuff, cool stuff. Golden medals.
That's so great. Well, congratulations.
Yeah,
That's
thank
awesome.
you.
Man, I'm gonna have to go search for YouTube footage of it or something. Or that's
Yeah.
if it's out there, who knows? All that fun stuff. It's great. All right, final question for you guys. It is the last lightning round question, so I just want to hear right what you have to say, but also just as kind of we wrap everything up. For people listening to your story and hearing all the twists and turns and all the things that you guys have said yes to and bravely moved forward in, for someone who is hearing everything and wants to follow in your guys' footsteps to some degree or to everything, and kind of really inspired by what you guys are doing, what advice would you give that person?
Yeah. Very interesting. I do think to dare to follow your goals or dreams or whatever, and to, as I said earlier, try and figure out what you want to do in music. In terms of do you just want to have fun in your basement? Do you want to get a ton of streams because it's cool and you can earn $1, or do you want to create a fan base? Because those three things are very separate. And if you want to build a fan base, there's practices for doing that. As building a community, creating content, finding your audience. And if you want to focus in on get a ton of streams, that's a whole different story with releasing a lot of music frequently and finding ways to boost your algorithms, to spike some algorithmic stuff by getting onto playlists or doing ads for your music, and also doing tons of collabs would be an amazing way to build that's the streaming side of things. So I think think about what you want to achieve in music and why you're doing it.
Yeah.
I would say to be part of a community, reach out to people, talk with them. It's more fun. You get to know a bunch of people who like the same thing as you. You can geek around with everything. And you are not alone in your work, and you have some nice chances to experience and get to know things you never had the chance to learn before.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yep.
And it's also more inspiring.
Yeah.
I think that has been a very success factor for us. I mean, us being two have been both very fun and inspiring. I mean, some days when I don't feel like creating anything at all, and Lina comes home and she's super excited to work on some stuff in the studio, I mean, that kind of brings up my energy, and we end up going and making something instead of doing nothing.
I love that.
Yeah. And I think other people, if you don't have a partner creating music with, maybe a good way could be to try and find a few people to build a little community. I mean, I guess that's kind of what you guys have done in the Echoes Blue world of things and all ambient.
It seems to be, right. Yeah, and the family continues to grow, and that's, I appreciate you saying that, because I think more and more as that continues to grow, I just find more and more of a heart for the fact that, I mean, if not actively, how do I put it? If you're not actively trying to connect with people, especially as a musician or producer, you can find yourself alone all the time, right? You could, and I think more and more just this world in general, we all feel connected online, but there's not nearly as much actual, and this, a conversation like this, I would consider kind of an exception to the rule, because we are very much connected. It's not social, bloop, 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 where you kind of, talk on, or, or text, messaging on social platforms and stuff, but how many people know what your drink is when you guys go hang out at the local restaurant, or when something's going on at 2 a.m? Like, how many people do you have to call and are like there for you? And so to put time and effort into connecting with humans, and to put relationship first, and to watch, especially in kind of in our artist world, to watch that grow, and to have beautiful art come out of it, to have the music be a wonderful thing, but it's almost a byproduct of relationship, as opposed to just, I guess I'll make some relationships because that just means I'm gonna get more streams, or I'm gonna release more stuff like that. And not that getting more streams is a bad goal, but like I wouldn't want to take advantage of relationship just to kind of better my my revenue from this and that. We're people. Right. I hear that from you guys, the focus on community and the joy of that, and the inspiration from that, from each other. You guys have that built in, which is beautiful. And then with the growing amount of collab work that you're doing as center of attention, with the growing momentum for Silent Sonic, I'm just really, really excited for you guys. And your heart is there. Your talent is there. There's just nothing but good stuff ahead for the two of you. So I'm thrilled for everything that has happened, but I'm even more thrilled for everything that's to come for you guys. For sure.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you guys for being here. Means the world. Thanks for setting aside the time. And like I said, we should probably have you back at some point if you're willing to. It'll be great.
Yeah, totally.
Sure, definitely.
Let's do it again sometime.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I mean, it's been great being here. We're fans of your music. Love everything you've done.
Well, thanks.
And big fans of the show as well. Been listening to all of the episodes. So really fun. Definitely.
Well, we're part of the family together.
Yeah.
It's great. Awesome.
We are.
Thanks, you guys. Thanks again for joining us on the All Ambient podcast. This is about as shameless of a plug as it gets, but it really does help for those of you who are watching to give us a rating if you're on any podcast platform like Apple or Spotify or anything like that. On YouTube, we would love a follow, a subscribe, a like, all that fun stuff. And please leave a comment, a review, whatever is applicable to the right place that you're finding this. It really does go a long way. You don't have to make anything up by any means, but if there's some value in this podcast for you, we'd love to hear about it. We, as the All Ambient family, would love to meet you. I know it does my heart good, as well as everybody else who's involved at All Ambient. So please do so. Come back and join us next week. We got another great episode coming your way. And until then, here's hoping that this music and the hearts behind it make your day and your life that much better. Thanks.